All right, welcome back to the big weekend show. He may have worn Dodger blue, but Steve Garvey may be driving a red Wave in California. Fox News correspondent Christina Coleman is going to break down the new numbers ahead of a Super Tuesday from L.A. tonight.
Joey, the top two finishers on Super Tuesday will compete against one another in November's general election, regardless of their party. A new Berkeley poll shows a former LA Dodger and political newcomer Republican Steve Garvey is in a statistical tie with Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff. Schiff's House colleague, Katie Porter, is trailing at third out of the 27 candidates on the ballot. Now, even though a Republican is in the lead heading into Super Tuesday, political experts predict this seat, which once belonged to the late Senator Dianne Feinstein, will ultimately stay blue in November. Keep in mind, no Republican has been elected to a statewide office in California since Arnold Schwarzenegger won governor in 2006. The same Berkeley poll also shows Schiff beating Garvey by 15 points in a head-to-head matchup in the general, but the race between Schiff and Porter would be a toss-up, with both Democrats polling at 30 points. Schiff's campaign spent millions on statewide ads that elevate Republican candidate Steve Garvey in the race, and even though Porter uses a similar tactic with another Republican contender, Porter has criticized Schiff's strategy as it has effectively downplayed her chances at making the November ballot.
It's about taking the best qualified woman who's competitive in the race, who can win in November, off the ballot. And I don't think that's what someone who's a self-styled defender of democracy like Representative Schiff should be doing at this point.
Garvey, who has not spent money on TV ads, tells Fox News that Schiff's campaign ads worked to his advantage, and he's optimistic about his chances winning this race.
This is probably the single most difficult seat in America for conservative moderate. We have a narrow path, but you know that path is built on common sense, compassion, consensus building.
This tight race is also the most expensive in this state's history, with campaigns spending more than $65 million, nearly triple what was spent in the last three California Senate races combined. Joey?
Thank you very much. All right, Katie, I was looking at these polls, and it's kind of, if you're a Republican, it's kind of good news in the beginning, and then you see that kind of 53 to 38%. But I just want to bring that poll up real quick. It shows 27% Steve Garvey's leading, Adam Schiff's 2% behind him. I look at this and I say, okay, well, you add 19 and 8% over the 25, and that's your real gap. But what about this is good news for Republicans in California?
Well, first, I would say that Adam Schiff believes that he's entitled to this seat because he helped impeach Donald Trump and drive the Russia narrative, which destroyed the country for 4 years. He thinks that he deserves this seat because of the dues he's paid for the Democratic Party. But in terms of the Republicans, look, I would love to think about Ronald Reagan as the governor of California back in the day. I love to think that maybe Republicans can make a stand here. The Republicans mostly have left California, the ones that have tried to get out of the state. They've gone away. When Rick Caruso ran as a Republican after being a lifelong Democrat against Karen Bass, the mayor of L.A., with all of the crime, he ended up losing that seat. That's when I think I really realized that California is essentially a lost cause. It's very difficult for Republicans to win there because of the machine that Democrats have built. So I admire him for running. He says it's the toughest seat in the country to go for, and I don't disagree. But I think that the polling shows the reality of what's going on in California.
Great to team me up there talking about California being a lost cause. Kellyanne, I want to play right now Steve Garvey's pitch on Sunday Morning Futures with Maria right here.
Over the last 50 years, people have come here with their dreams. They wanted to start families, great schools for their kids. They had their dreams, and you know what? A one-party state has suppressed that. It's taken the hardworking people of California and it's put them into a malaise. I'm running for the soul of California.
Yeah, that last part, he's running for the soul of California. That kind of speaks to what Katie's talking about the abandonment of California in a lot of places. Is the soul of California, if you're a Republican, savable?
I believe it always is. And look, I'm not a big fan of the word electability, us telling people who can win and who can't win long before the voters have their say. You're really robbing the people of their voice and their choice. The one thing that equalizes all of us is one person, one vote under the Constitution. That said, it is a climb, but it's a climb worth doing because at some point, something's going to change and shift. I just read an article yesterday about Republican registration rolls in California going up. Maybe that's modest, but you have to build over time. You can't scale an abyss in one leap. You have to go in baby steps. I think Garvey's pitch is pitch perfect, if you don't mind me saying, and in that it's a doctrinaire Republican pitch. I actually think if you can get Adam Schiff one-on-one and you can make this a national race, and a lot of these donors who are sitting on the sidelines in other races come out and say, we don't want Adam Schiff in the United States Senate after he lied. He looked the country in the eye and lied. He went on the Sunday shows where nobody's under oath, by the way, take that to the bank, and said Russia collusion is hiding in plain sight. That was a lie. Put our country through an awful lot. So if he can get them there. And also, I just wanted to quickly say how we got here. Dianne Feinstein died. She was in her 90s, or about 90. She had the seat for a long time. Gavin Newsom replaced Dianne Feinstein in that seat with somebody he knew was a placeholder.
Yeah.
She lives in Maryland. She's a Planned Parenthood. He probably turned her at a dinner party on a Saturday night and said, hey, Katie, you want the seat? They're friends. So that's how we got to this. If we're going to have a real open race, then let's make the issue Adam Schiff. I'm ready.
Charlie, real quick, there are a couple of states where Democrats have done this to Republicans. Yeah. Georgia's one of them. Texas is one that they've made big headways on, this mass exodus from California. Virginia's one where Republicans swung back. You know a lot about that. Is this a model that Republicans should take up and say, hey, if we can make headway in California?
Well, I certainly agree with Kellyanne that you have to fight these fights. You can't cede the territory or you will never win.
Yeah.
Of course, nothing says diversity like Adam Schiff, especially in Women's History Month. But the real problem here is it's still the same old terrible ideas. You have all the Democrats in this race believe in $20. One of them believes in a $50 an hour minimum wage, which is going to further destroy the economy there. And they all believe in free health care for illegal aliens.
All right. Well, we got to leave it there.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.